Hello everybody, it's Steve Calloway here, Steve Calloway 1 on YouTube, and we're here with Angelina Jordan. This is another episode of Solid Gold. This one is one of her best, most touching, most, to me, emotional, and so beautiful too, performances. And she was 10 years old on this video. Let us go ahead and watch and listen, and you might want to get a crying towel near at hand. Let's go.
Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Alright. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Sunset.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, it's alright.
So this was Angelina Jordan. This is brought to us by TV2 in Norway. Angelina Jordan in December of 2016, singing at a charity show funding the Norwegian Refugee Council, NRC. And it's a masterpiece, I think. Not just her voice, but which is a standalone, iconic masterpiece in my opinion. But the whole thing, the way it was put together, the picture of all the kids. You know what I was thinking about as I was watching it was, excuse me, was you look at all those beautiful kids, right? Smiling, happy, which is how kids should be all the time. You look at them, and then you realize it's a refugee council, a charity fundraiser. I'm not sure where they got the pictures of the kids or whether they're refugees or in refugee camps, whether they're living in their home in their own place. I don't know. But I will say that sometimes I just feel like uh, there's certain things that we as human beings, we just know that it's right or it's wrong. There's no gray area. It's right or it's wrong. There are some things that can be right or wrong, and there can be some gray area. But how do you look at those kids? Any kids? Actually, Angelina's a kid in this video. 10 years old. That's pretty young. But how do you look at all those kids? Who could ever hurt a kid like that? Simple question: is it right to hurt a kid like that, or is it wrong? Who could do it? I can't fathom that. But it happens. Somehow I have this wild dream that those that know right from wrong have to basically rise up. We don't have to be necessarily have physical altercations or anything like that. But when somebody's doing wrong, that has to be unacceptable to the rest of us. Because I know that the wrongdoers are a really small minority of the people on the planet. But they're out there. So what can you do? What can we do? I suppose every situation is unique, I suppose. But I don't think that people that do bad things to other people, especially to kids, are you kidding me? They need to be basically felt shunned, I think, and ostracized. Now, are there cases where maybe somebody is mentally ill and stuff like that? Then they need help. Okay? I mean, you can't ignore that kind of stuff. We can't do it anymore, I don't think. This is what Angelina brings out in me. It's sort of I guess it's compassion, but it's also appreciation of life and the beauty of it, and these kids all with smiles. Can you imagine that somebody could actually hurt one of those kids? I just can't even imagine it. But it happens. We hear about it on the news. Sometimes we even see it, maybe. I don't know. Pretty sure none of you guys that are watching this video are people doing bad things. But I think it's, we can't accept people doing bad things to anybody, especially kids. We can't accept that as normal or expected or okay. I just don't think that it is. This is not a political statement. It has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with being a human being. And it's, I don't want politics on my channel. But this is not a political statement. This is the Norwegian Refugee Council. I don't know that much about Norway's politics. I don't really care about Norway's politics. You know what I care about? These kids. I don't even know them. This is the only time I've ever seen these kids. So what can we do? Angelina, her voice alone asks us to try to be more loving, more kind, more compassionate. How do you do that? Listen to the song, smile, and go about your day? Yeah, at least that, right? How does that impact the world? Well, if you're happy, if you're smiling out there, believe it or not, I believe you're having an impact on people around you. They see your smile, they smile because you're smiling. How far does that reach? You ever hear the thing, the butterfly effect? That's where a small action like the beating of a butterfly's wings can have an impact that's unimaginably huge by the time it gets done with the ripple effect, And that's a simplistic way to say that. But we got to do something. We should always be loving, protecting, and taking care of our all of our people, honestly, but the kids especially. They don't deserve to be treated bad. There's nothing they could possibly do that they should deserve to be treated bad. And I'm not saying we're seeing that in the video. We aren't. We aren't seeing all those kids seem very happy. But when you hear the word refugee, I think of hardship and bad things. You know, something happened that you had to leave your home, and you're a refugee. Something had to happen. Maybe all it was you just wanted to change the environment to hopefully make a better life for your family. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe there's a war and you want to get your family out of the danger zone. That happens. I know that happens quite a bit. Maybe a country is failing. The country itself is failing for whatever reason. And people want to, just move on and try to start a new life. There's all kinds of reasons why there's refugees. But again, are the kids part to blame? No, they aren't. Not even a little. Who should take care of the kids to make sure that they are protected, loved, treated kindly, compassionately? Who should do that? Guess what? Me, you, every adult, every person in the environment of that particular kid or any kids. Should never hurt a kid. I just don't. I can't find any place in me that says it's okay to hurt a kid. Other people, okay, you can have some debate about some of that, but those are adults that of their own free will and sometimes guided by, or misguided actually, it would be the better term, do things that we all know are in the category of right and wrong. They do wrong. They choose to do wrong. Sometimes they even plan to choose to do wrong. See, people like that need help, and I guess we have to help them. How? I don't know. There's no easy answer, I guess. How do people get that way? Are they born that way? Or do they somehow, through the course of their life, become that way? There's probably no real definites in any of this. I'm just talking. But we have to do more. I say we start with the children. If they grow up and they're feeling that they were well cared for, loved, people had compassion for them, if they grow up feeling that way, maybe as they develop into adults, that'll just be a natural part of who they are. And they'll carry that forward. Maybe that's the way. Make sure every kid's taken care of as best they possibly can be. When I say taken care of, I'm not talking about spending huge amounts of money. I'm talking about they're loved, they're cared for, they're listened to. It's really not that hard. If they grow up that way, guess what? Think about yourself. I'm 70 years old. I think about the way I grew up, That's who I am. That's made me who I am. Like it or not, it's in there. It's like a big pot of life soup. If there's salt in there, you can taste the salt. It's in there. You can't get it out. You can put more in, but then it might be too salty. Or any ingredient that's in the soup. It doesn't matter what it is. You can have too much, too little, not necessary, whatever. Same thing with your life. But once it's in there, it's in there. It's part of the soup. Unless you add more ingredients or try to take something away, it's in there. And it's not easy to take anything out of a soup. If you've ever tried to do that, if you get it too salty, what do you got to do? You got to basically add a lot of water, right? Then the richness of the broth is no longer there. It becomes diluted. Oh, boy. Boy, I can talk forever, can't I? Well, I'm going to quit wasting your time with all that stuff I'm saying. I just think, it's if you're sitting quietly, sometimes you just want to think about something. Think about that. One of you guys are, maybe more than one. You guys are smart people, I believe. All of you. How many people does it take to change the world? You know the answer to that. Only takes one. Angelina, right here, is a prime example of that. She's reached out and touched many, many people. She doesn't even know them, never met them. With her voice and the way she makes us feel. That improves us as people, and we impact those around us with that same love and kindness. Sometimes we do it consciously, other times it just becomes a part of who we are, and we just do it without thinking about it. That's the best right there, in my opinion. All right. Yeah, I'm done preaching for today. Preacher Steve, down off the soapbox there, okay? Move on. Guys, we'll see you on the next video. I hope that wasn't too long for you, too boring. We'll see you on the next one. This is my second episode of Solid Gold. Bye-bye.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Alright. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Sunset.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun.